Adi Guru, in that sense. The medium for revealed truth, really. And what is the truth but Krishna? That Krishna is Yang Shama Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam, inconceivably beautiful, loving, charming and sweet, and awaiting our love and affection and reciprocation. Everyone said, the sweet absolute. So because when we think of revealed truth, we can think of many philosophical things, and the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Puranas, and all the vast array of Vedic literature. But those Veda stutis, personified Vedas, because as Guru Maharaj said, the books, or now digital representation, passive representation, they are conscious. And conscious always means personality. So we hear in the 87th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the prayers of the personified Vedas. And one by one, they're expressing some glorification. But Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur says that some of them that have more depth with regard to the sweetness of Krishna and Madhura, they can't wait to speak. Like, hurry up with the generic glorification. They want to come forward and express that. And when it says, Yadbanchana Sri Lalana Charatapo, that Lakshmi Devi performed austerities for lifetimes in the Tapovan to gain entrance into the Rasa Lila, but could not enter with her Aiswarja aspect, but it must be Gopi Bhav, Gopi Deho, heart of a gopi, form of a gopi, which is the outcome of the heart. As the body is the biological expression of the soul's delusion, the swarup is the spiritual form expression of the devotional heart. Right? So Guru Maharaj said, when the Veda stutis did participate, they thought, what have we done with our Vedic revelation? We didn't describe this. We didn't even know that this possibility was there, of this sort of sweet interaction with the sweet absolute. That sort of feeling came from them. And we heard from Srila Gurudev so many times, him referencing the first sloka of the Bhagavatam, Tene Brahma Hrida, into the heart of Brahma. It doesn't say, and this was revealed into the mind of Brahma. Mind is a different thing. It's not data transfer, the transfer of information, data mining. No, it said a heart to heart. Heart is not satisfied by knowing. The heart is satisfied without knowing, actually. As the Guru Maharaj said, if you have to ask why, it's not devotion. So the heart doesn't need to know. No, it's a lower thing. We were talking before, Gyan. After that, Vigyan. Why? But Guru Maharaj said, what's the other one? Pragyan. It means with the element of beauty, charm, sweetness, love, and affection. That type of understanding. Heart-to-heart transaction. So what is the revealed truth? And those who are revealing that truth, what are they revealing? We're told the Kalpataru of Veda, that desire tree. Veda will give everything. But I've told, like the mango tree, what is the purpose of a mango tree? is to produce a mango. You can say, no, we can get shade under that tree. We can chop it down, turn it into firewood. We can make tables out of it. That would be tragic, right? And misdirected. A misunderstanding of what the purpose of that tree is. So people, they read the Vedas and go, oh, they say this and they say that. And yes, many things are said there. But as the purpose of a mango tree is to produce a fully ripened mango, the purpose of the tree of Veda, Nigama kalpaturo galitam palam shukamukaram ritardava samyatam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhubi. Guru says, Vyas penned these 3 slokas, and he said, and then about Bhagavatam, and then sent it to market. And he put, introduction, Janmadhyashyataha, Dharmak Projita Kaitram, and Rasa, the fruit, the fully ripened fruit, as Prabhupada likes to say, of the tree of Vedic literature. From that tree, the floral essence manifests, the flower Vedanta. But then the flower gives way, and then the fruit is produced. Like that. So what is that heart-to-heart transfer? It is not about knowledge, it's about feeling. Chit, or cognition, enables feeling. We're anesthetized so you don't feel. Why? Because when you're conscious, you have feelings, you feel. The heart is an instrument of feeling. So if it says heart-to-heart transfer, then it must mean the transfer of feelings. Right? So in the Chaitanyastakam of Srila Rupa Goswami, how much love, affection, appreciation does he have for Mahaprabhu? He writes 3 of them. You would think one astakam would be glorious, but he writes a second one, he writes another one. Maybe he's writing another one as we speak. But so beautiful there. And what did it say? And the first verse, Sado pasya sriman drita manuja kaya pranayitam vahad bi girvane girisha parameshti prabrittibi shabhaktebhya sudham nijabhajana mudra mupadishan sat chaitanya kame punar apidashor yashati padam. Rupa Goswami says, will I see again with these eyes what I saw? I saw Shiva and Brahma don the guise of human beings, and to have a glimpse of the beauty of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Will I see that with these eyes, as I beheld that Brahma and Shiva adopted human forms, right? Mahaprabhu, so beautiful, Raso Dama Kamar Budama Dura Damodjala Tanur, 10 million cupids personified at one. That sort of inconceivable magnitude of seductive charm, sweetness, beauty. Guru Maharaj, in parallel, Koti Kami Murchi Tangri Rupa Rasa Rangaram. He takes it in another direction, saying, 10 million cupids will faint to see the beauty of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So he's saying, that's what I saw. And he said, and what did they come? What sort of Brahma and Shiva, when they came? They didn't come empty-handed. What gifts did they come? Bearing the gifts of their heart. The love and affection in their heart. They came bearing that. That's the real gift. Tene Brahma Hrida, the heart-to-heart transaction. So when I asked Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaja once, about this Chaitanyastakam, and having heard Guru Maharaj, some particular part, I wanted to understand, I wanted some clarification, and then Maharaj very easily, naturally clarified that point, made some others, and I thought, how wonderful. And I asked him, oh, when did you study this? And he said, oh, I never studied it. I haven't studied it. But I'm saying, no, but you just gave this detailed explanation of the meaning, and you clarified so many points, but you've never studied it. He said, no. And he said, I am Guru Maharaj's servitor. That's how he began. Most devotees met him in another capacity, but he was reminding me and saying, like, when I was younger, when he says I was Guru Maharaj's servitor, he means his koka, his boy who did everything for him, who cleaned his clothes, prepared his bath, cleaned his room, cooked, did everything. Later, he mercifully allowed others to do these type of personal service, but he did everything. There was a period where he did everything for Guru Maharaj. So he said, so while Guru Maharaj is going to bathe, so he's cleaning his room, taking his cloth, alter everything. And he said, while he's doing that, he can hear Guru Maharaj, and with a lota, Guru Maharaj is pouring the water and going like, Raso Dhamma Kamar Buddha Madhura Dhammodjala Tanur Jatinam Utangshus. He's chanting the Chaitanyastakam of Rupa Goswami. And what Gurudev is conveying to me is that heart-to-heart transfer. So Guru Maharaj is doing it. He's content just to serve him. He's not asking about that, but he's saying, it's going from the heart of Guru Maharaj into his heart by dint of his serving tendency, which is full of love and affection. So the full wealth that's in the heart of Guru Maharaj, which is not gyan, the full wealth of that feeling, that prem, is being transferred to his heart because of his exclusive focus on serving the holy lotus feet of his Gurudev. The Rupa Goswami, echoing the teachings of Mahaprabhu, the Sanatana Goswami. What is the first principle of spiritual life? Guru Padasraya, taking shelter of the lotus feet of Guru. Without that, everything else is meaningless or superficial or academic. Let's take shelter of the lotus feet, and then we'll say, take diksha from him, shiksha, and serve him intimately with love and affection. Right. So we say that our anthem or the motto of the Rupa Nuga line is given by Narottam Thakur, Sri Rupa Manjari Pada. Why does the song start that way? Oh. Again, why always the pada, the feet, the Western world? Why are they always bowing down in the Eastern world? What's with all the bowing? Right? In Thailand, they're always bowing. Namaste. No, everyone's always bowing. We don't bow down to anyone. By golly, that's your problem. Is you don't bow down to anyone. You think you're everything. You're the best. You're number one. You're worth it. Right? Your problem is you don't bow to anyone. And you're self-identified. Why? Why always the feet? Right? Look at every song, Sri Guru Charana Padma. Why? Why? Over and over, it's being emphasized. Because what it means, and your head to the foot, generally that's objectionable, or in some cases offensive. But here you're saying, no, that's your starting point. It means taking the highest aspect of yourself, represented by the head, and whatever's in there, the tiny, as one writer said, our tiny skull-sized kingdoms. That we're so proud of. Put that at the least aspect of that world, represented by the foot. So you're taking the highest aspect of this plane and bowing to the least aspect of that world and its representation. And you think, oh, that's for the beginners. No. when Rupa Goswami is praising the qualities of Srimati Radharani, Hari Padanaka Koti Prishta Parjanta Simha. Whatever the first verse is always very important. So in his Radhastakam, he also wrote Lalita Astakam, Radhastakam. And there he says, Radharani, Hari Padanaka, means the nails of the lotus feet of Krishna. Because if we want to go more refined, if we say, well, the lotus feet, that's the least part. But then, well, let's analyze it more. What would be the least part of the foot? Would be the nail. So, if Rupa Goswami says this, it's important. He says, Hari Padanaka Koti Prishta Parjanta Simha. She considers the least aspect of Krishna to be 10 million times greater than the highest aspect of herself. It's not for the beginners. It's beginning, middle, and end. Okay? That's how she thinks. And he further says, if hearing about the way she is in this type of vision intoxicates you or captures your imagination, then you can be initiated into this. If this has piqued your imagination, that how she can think like that. The least aspect of Krishna is greater than the highest aspect of myself, magnified 10 million times. And then how does he praise Lalita? Remember, when Srila Gurudev, we're in Govardhan, and some devotee said, we're going to Uchagaon, to the house of Lalita Bar, the house of Lalita Saki. And they saying, do you want to go? And he said, no. And he said, because as Guru Maharaj felt some special connection in Kadam Kandi, the place of Rupa Goswami, Gurudev felt some special connection in Uchagaon, Lalita Bar, the house of Lalita Saki. And he said, and it was so overwhelming that he feared that if he were to go there again, that it would somehow diminish those feelings. So to preserve what he had felt previously, he declined to go. And what does Rupa Goswami say about her? And that's equally applicable to Srila Gurudev and his service to Srila Guru Maharaj. He says, Radha Mukunda Parasambhava Garma Bindu Nirmanchano Pakarani Kritadeha Laksham Utunga Sohrada Vishesha Vishat Pragobam Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami. Why Devi? Means, resplendent goddess. Why? And he uses Lalita. Her name is Lalita, but Lalita is also a quality. And he says, Sulalita Lalitam Namami. It's very beautiful. And he's saying, and how shall we understand her individual qualities and characteristics? So when Radha and Mukunda, Krishna, they're in their private, intimate relation. If she observed a drop of sweat, it's intolerable to her. And to remove that, she is prepared with Deho Laksham, to take on 100,000 forms to ensure that not the least disturbance will enter that plane. Right? And I've told, generally, when someone's willing to sacrifice their life for their country, or they call it the ultimate sacrifice. He made the ultimate sacrifice. And rightfully so. They're honored. There's Memorial Day, some version of that, all around the world in every country, to celebrate those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. They sacrificed their lives for the sake of their country and their countrymen. Right? So they're honored, and rightfully so. That's one type of soldier. But here, if we can conceive a soldier who can become 10 million soldiers, what kind of a soldier is that? Who can become 10 million soldiers who are giving their for the cause. He's saying that's Lalita Saki. Right? She has that level of earnestness and magnitude of appreciation for the least aspect of service, that not any disturbance will enter in that plane. She's prepared to take that all upon herself. And we see Swarup Damodar, Lalita Sakhi and Gaura Lila occupy a similar service and situation. Then and as Babaji Maharaj told, when they visit Barshana, I gave away the punchline. When they visited Hapania, saying, we see this as Barshana. Why? Taking Guru Maharaj as Radharani's delegation. Right? And then I thought, and that's another thing to be discussed, but I thought, well, in this context, if Guru Maharaj is Radharani, then how shall we see Srila Gurudev, but as Lalita Sakhi, and there are similarities. You can say anything and everything, but can you demonstrate similarities? And then we see, who has that magnitude of eagerness for the least aspect of seva to Srila Guru Maharaj? Who's prepared to take on all the headaches, as they were, or burden, or responsibility of seva, so that not even the slight disturbance will enter that plane where Guru Maharaj is composing the Prema Dhamma Deva Stotram, the subjective evolution of consciousness, his Gayatri explanation, etc., and so many prayers, the Babaji Gaurkishornas Babaji, Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Srila Govinda Maharaj always moving on the plane of service of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, taking all the responsibilities for the seva. It didn't matter how trivial it may appear to be. He said, once I know something is service to Guru Maharaj, I'm jumping, I'm eager for that. Even if it was something that might be considered unpalatable to the extreme. He's saying, no, it's service to Guru Maharaj. Happily, he's taking that on. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings of this in one of his songs where he's saying, what might appear to others to be burdensome or troublesome, he said, is a labor of love for me. And Srila Gurudev, he personified that. He's saying, why did he tolerate me? For example, because I promoted Guru Maharaj. That was why. So someone who's objectionable to the extreme, he's tolerating them because they served as Guru Maharaj. That's all that matters for him. As he once said, one word from Guru Maharaj makes us his slaves forever. That is his mood. So when we're in London and on one of his how many world tours?
24 more.
24. And the servitors, they're running around, the giant suitcase, the giant suitcase of muri, the giant suitcase of medicines, very large, the kind of suitcase you could fit a refrigerator in, that size, And they're running around doing all these things, and I had the good fortune to be sitting with him while he's waiting. And he said, Maharaj, you cannot imagine how happy I was in my village life in Bamanpar. And I was thinking, normally, when someone's telling you how I came to Krishna consciousness story, they're telling you how horrible everything was, how, their life was just ruined and a mess, and someone told me, I thought the world was on fire, it's some story like that, and then, and he's saying, how happy I was. And he's saying, I loved everyone, and everyone loved me. We're thinking, yes, Maharaj, your love and affection personified. And he's saying, all the people love me. He goes, the animals love me, the birds, the trees, everyone loved me. He said, even the rickshaw-wallas. And that was the gradation, people, animals, birds, trees, rickshaw-wallas. They love me too, even the rickshaw-wallas. And he said, and then Guru Maharaj's representative came to my village, he said, talking this nonsense. Your mother is nothing, your father is nothing, this world is nothing, and soon you'll have to leave it all. The way he said, talking this nonsense. And he said, but it touched my heart and I couldn't deny it, that what he was saying was true. And he's basically saying, in other words, like, you know, and he spoiled my happy little dream that I had everything was going on. And then he comes saying these things, and I can't deny that what he's saying is true. And we hear in the stories of great Acharyas, Jamuna Acharya, others, that sometimes it appears that they're how do you say, you know, participating in mundane life up to a certain degree, and then some agent comes and says something and it strikes a sympathetic chord in their heart. But really, as Guru Maharaj said, it's some wealth that is already there, but just as Leela would have it, circumstances arrange, and then it has an opportunity to start expressing the devotional heart. And so that, but Gurudev always very clever, you know, that person's pushing for him to come and meet Guru Maharaj and join the mat, and Gurudev saying things like, well, if I go, we have to go right now, which was not the most rational thing to do. He's going like, well, the only way we go right now is like if we swim across the Ganga. Then he's kind of pushing. So they swim across the Ganga, they're heading towards the mat, and that representative Guru Maharaj is realizing the seriousness of, although he's only 17 years old, you have to factor that in as well. And on the way there, Gurudev said he had in his mind from Ramayana, Mahabharata, other literature, like what the ashram will look like of the Guru. And when he got there, he said that devotee detected some apprehension, bordering disappointment, you know, like, and he said, he turned to him and he said, it may be a small hut, or he said, but there's a big sadhu inside. And he said, then I was reassured, you know. And then he meets Srila Guru Maharaj. And Guru Maharaj, we know also, he has a way of testing you by asking certain questions that sound like they're ostensibly sincere or earnest, but he's actually testing you to see how you will respond. So he says to him, so how long do you think you'll stay? And Gurudev was offended. What? When I come, it's forever. That's what Guru Maharaj wanted to hear. But he said, how long will you be staying? Forever. Oh. Then I should tell you what the rules are. Rule number 1, you have to listen to me and follow me and not your own mind. And Gurudev said, I was young, so I said, yes. And he said, I didn't know in time how difficult that could be. But I was young, I said, yes. And we know, we used to hear when we first went to the mat, they would tell us some story about, you know, there was this one devotee, he was so earnest and so sincere that his family came and they tried to take him away and he was holding on to the bars of the window and they couldn't break it, you know, and they sent the whole village, and we go, wow, we always thought that was an extraordinary story. Until we heard later who the devotee was. It was Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaja. That his mother and who he would sometimes refer to as that divine lady, you know, his mother, and with some pundits, and you know, they came, and Guru Maharaj took the position of, whatever he decides, he already knew he had him. But he said, whatever he decides, And when they were trying to force, and he's holding on to the bars, and he said, some old pundit-like man came and said, no, not like this. Don't do it like this. Let the boy decide. And of course, he decided to stay, and in time, his mother, brother, everyone in connection with him also became disciples of Srila Guru Maharaj. And Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj was the first. He told Guru Maharaj, Gurudev at the time known as Gorendu Brahmachari, Babaji Maharaj said, this Gorendu Brahmachari, he's special. He's the one. You should give all your attention and everything you got to him. He's the one you need to. So he was an early advocate of Srila Gurudev, Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj. And of course, His Divine Grace, Om Vishnupad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who referred to him as his affectionate child. And we know Guru Maharaj is already in the retiring stage and not going out of the mat. And Swami Maharaj has a dual, a duplex in Calcutta, his place of business, and another place that he gives as a Chaitanya Saraswat Mat extension, little preaching center, place for, really it's for Srila Gurudev, and maybe time to time some brahmacharis. But he's living there, Srila Govinda Maharaja is living there. He will go out preaching. He's the first distributor of the Back to Godhead magazine. And he said he'd come back and tell Swami Maharaj, they said this or this happened. And then he'd tell him, all right, next time they say that, then you say this. Trying to, and teaching him Bhagavad Gita. And we know that, they're taking breakfast together in the morning. And we know that Swami Maharaj, his very aristocratic in his style. For him, breakfast is aloo bhaja and some puris, something fried and something. And Gurudev is, muri and something. And it'd say, Swami Maharaj would say, Gorindu, have some sabji and some puris. No, the muri is sufficient for me. And Swami Maharaj said, that is simply cheating the stomach. Take some puris. So you can imagine this kind of loving exchange. And when it was time, when he read Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, the writing of Srila Gurudev in Mat publications, so that he told the story that had philosophical substance and at the same time was humorous. And he liked that. He said, you have a great future as a transcendental humorist. He said, because people, they don't like just straight philosophy. But you've given philosophy, and at the same time, there's humor, it's very, it's a nice story, it's appealing. So he liked that. And that's one of the hallmarks of Srila Gurudev's personality, is to be able to make everyone laugh, but not just laugh, but the underlying spiritual substance that is being revealed through his sense of humor. And really, reading one book of Raghunath Das Goswami where he's describing the playful banter between the Braja gopis amongst themselves and sometimes with Krishna, I thought, it's so clever, and it's ontological, Siddhantic-based humor that is unthinkable. And as I thought, where have I heard this sort of thing? And I thought, in Srila Govinda Maharaj. And then I thought, so he's qualified to enter there and that type of play. Hare Krishna. So when it came time for the opening of the ISKCON world headquarters, the ISKCON Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir, in Prabhupada's mind, the guest of honor should be Srila Sridhar Maharaj, right? Because as he said later, when Guru Maharaj did come, when the devotees were saying, what do we do about the installation for the deities? They're saying about procedure, ritual, and things like that. And Brahma said, Sridhar Maharaj has arrived, the deities are installed. Right? But, of course, that means when we say Guru Maharaj, we cannot conceive of Srila Guru Maharaj without Srila Gurudev by his side. He's accompanying him, as always, and told me he was not expecting to speak. But Guru Maharaj was not feeling so well. He did speak, and he said some inconceivably wonderful things. But Gurudev was not expecting, he thought maybe, he's known also, Kirtaniya, his expert singing. His father was a singer. He used to fill in for him sometimes as a boy. He knew all the songs. They'd come through the village, he said, singing these songs. He liked this one song, it was about Krishna and Balaram and the cowherd boys going into the Vrindavan forest. And he said, as a child, he'd join the group singing and feel that he was like one of the cowherd boys entering the Vrindavan forest. His heart was so sweet and beautiful. Those sort of sentiments came to him naturally. But so then Swami Maharaj asked for him to say something. And he glorified him, and of course Srila Guru Maharaj. And in his glorification, and Babaji Maharaj is on the side, leading the kirtans. You know, I mean, Babaji Maharaj's mouth in perpetual motion of Krishna Nam. Just always going like, I never saw it fixed. Just always trembling, like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, you know. He's like, and Gurudev said, because they're wondering, what will he say? What can you say at this time? But if you think of those words, what can you say? What can be said? To Srila Gurudev, he hears the voice of Raghupati Upadhyay to Mahaprabhu. Kam prati katai tam ise, samprati pratitam kobha, pratitam bayat. Go patitanaya kunje, gopa viduti vidang brahma. The verse says, what can I say? What can you say? And who could you tell? That's what comes to his, can you think, what should I say? What can I say? Oh, the verse that says, what can I say and who could I tell? Who would believe me? And so when he starts with this verse of Raghupati Upadhyay answering Mahaprabhu, he wants to glorify Srila Swami Maharaj. Babaji Maharaj goes, oh! He's saying like, oh, how perfect. This is the perfect thing to say. And he's saying, who can I tell? Who would believe me? Who I ate murti with at the breakfast table. I sold his Back to Godhead magazine. I'm like his loving, affectionate child. That Abhay Babu, Abhay Charanaravinda, Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, that he would spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. Is there anyone I can tell who would believe that? This is unbelievable. It's a miracle. Because Raghupati Upadhyay is saying, who can I say? Ahangi Han, who's crawling in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj? And you're wondering like, well, then what did they do? What did Nanda and Yashoda do? Well, that person, there's more. He's chasing after the Braja Gopis and the Kunja of Vrindavan. Is there anyone I can tell this is qualified to hear these things? And if so, would they believe it? Gopa Viduti Bitang Brahma, would anyone believe this? And as a footnote, Guru Maharaj said, but why he's telling us is now Mahaprabhu's come and saying he's going to tell everyone and everyone's going to believe it. He's so merciful. But so when he selects this as the verse to glorify Swami Maharaj, of course, Swami Maharaj is happy, Guru Maharaj is happy, Babaji Maharaj is ecstatic, and it's the perfect thing to say, as always. and it's fresh, it's original. That's what he's, his quality, his ability to read the situation and then say the perfect thing, the perfect glorification. And then at that time also, and he said, and that person who is so great, fulfilled Bhaktivinoda Thakur's prediction and Saraswati Thakur's innermost desire and spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. He reveres my Guru Dev, my Guru Maharaj, as his Shiksha Guru, and treats me as his loving, affectionate son. So when it came time for Swami Maharaj Prabhupada to speak, he said, yes, what Govinda Maharaj said is true. I revere Srila Sridhar Maharaj as my Shiksha Guru, and I love him as my affectionate child. Right? So, and always, again, like Lalita Saki, and in the background, arranging everything at the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, he favored staying in the background. But Guru Maharaj is insisting that only he shall succeed him. But he's always saying, no, Maharaj, make someone else and I will serve them. He always identifies exclusively with the servitor identity. When I'd see these books that say like, divine servitor or the affectionate guy, I think, it's Govinda Maharaj. It's funny, like these are supposed to be books by him, but really, that's who he is. He's the dignity of the divine servitor. He's that person. Right? He's the one who gives the affectionate guidance and all these other things. But he's happy to stay in the background, but Guru Maharaj would not accept that. And forcibly, almost with threat, pushing him to assume the acharjaship of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, which he always identified as President Acharya, Sevite. He was adamant that that word be included. Meaning, it means like the person who's in charge of all the seva. That was his mood. And Srila Guru Maharaj, in my last meeting with him, and he told me many things and sort of recapped our history and everything. And it was really wonderful. And actually, and he would give me Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's garland, embrace me, and I was ready to go. And then Govinda says, Maharaj, and then Guru Maharaj goes, oh, I'm actually, and he goes, oh, I actually forgot to tell you why I called you here. And so I came like, yes, Maharaj. And he goes, no, come a little bit closer. And I go, yes, Maharaj. He goes, no, come a little close. And then we're like this, and Guru Maharaj grabs my shoulders, and he starts shaking me, like that, and I'm going like this. And he said, it is my heartfelt desire that you will serve Srila Govinda Maharaj. And I'm going, yes, Maharaj. And he goes, it is my earnest desire that you will serve. Yes, Maharaj. And he goes, it is my earnest, heartfelt and Guru Maharaj was shaking me to like underscore the point. It was gentle shaking. He can shake me forever, as far as I'm concerned. It was very sweet. Gurudev once said to him earlier, he said, when Guru Maharaj was chastising him, he said, because Guru Maharaj wondered if he could take it, Gurudev said, you do not know how to give a proper beating. It was too sweet. Yeah, slapping, you know. But nice. You know what I'm saying? That's not, because Guru Maharaj has too much love for him. So anyway, he's telling me like that, and telling everyone that now you will see what is what he's got and what his capacity is, and you'll be the gainer for that. I guarantee you, because he's always happily staying in the background. Only sometimes Guru Maharaj, and supplying a sloka or a line, or only as needed, never trying to step into the spotlight, as it were, or any such thing. Always happy to see his Guru Maharaj at the center of attention. And that's really his mission, is the promotion of the glories of his Guru Maharaj. That makes him happy. And just Maharaj, I'll turn to you in the next moment, but just to show one example of how, with his delightful, I would say gopi-like sense of humor, that the ontology is there. So as his health was failing and he could no longer eat the full range of the prasadam that they make, you know. But those Bengali boys, they still want to cook so many things. And we have the good fortune to sit on his veranda with him and take the prasadam. And sometimes they made something and they realize they can't, and they kind of like drop it on our plate and don't say anything about it. But nothing escapes him. You know, if you walk by, Lalit walks by with he needs to see what's in there. You have to like show, you know, he's, you know, and usually he doesn't say anything while taking prasadam. He's just taking and in his own inner world, you know. And this time he starts saying something very mournfully, sorrowfully, you know, but like maudlin, like overly, you know. And so I can understand, he wants me, and I go, oh Maharaj, what is that song you're singing? You know. And he goes, oh Maharaj, Radharani is very unhappy. Like that, you know. I'm going, she is? Oh, yeah. Why? And he said, because it is bad enough that Krishna is going to the house of another gopi, but he's going through her courtyard so that she sees that he's going to the house of another gopi. And what he means is that it's bad enough they're bringing these things. We know how much he loves prasadam, and they're putting them on your plate. But that they like bring they walk the plate right by me and then put it on your plate. And I thought, like, who can like make us laugh and at the same time there's an undercurrent of something deeply spiritual that he baked into that along the way. So as you're like, the heart is filled with gold as a result. So, and the last thing I would say, in Navadip, when we're there and so many things are going on, you know, his veranda, there's always so much activity and comings and goings, and, you know, in the midst of all that, he can compose an arati or a sloka. And we're hearing the sound of the kokil, and because that the harbingers of springtime, but they also have meaning, and the poetry of the Goswamis and Rupa Goswami, and he's listening to that, and he says that when I was a child, he said, we had no clock or watch even. And he said, and we could tell time by the sky, looking at the sky, and hearing the sounds of different birds. And he'd say, so when he'd like hear certain sounds and look at the sky, and classic Gurudev would say, then I knew it was time to get up and eat muri. Not like get up and brush my teeth or something, you know, like get up and eat muri. But he said, then when you hear the kokil, he said, oh, because the beginning, he said, oh, listen, he said, two males, they're competing for the affection of a female. Right? And then he told about telling time that way in his childhood and everything. And then he quoted a verse from Srila Rupa Goswami's Padyavali, the one that is Jaimini iti Jaimidi iti Jalpati Vishadam, Korbita ko kila ku kila, something like that. Kurbati kila ko kila. Saying that in this verse of Rupa Goswami, that Srimati Radharani is chanting repeatedly the name of Jaimini Rishi. Why should she do that? So many things they do, we're perplexed. Why do they worship Katyayani? Why do they do? And we may, if we try and understand that with our intellect, we'll be misled. But why Radharani is doing that? You know, the land of Jnana-shunya Bhakti and the devotees there, it's in the guise of village life. So their custom is, if there is thunder and lightning, to protect themselves from being struck by lightning, they chant the name of Jaimini Rishi for protection. So that's their habit. But then, why is she chanting the name of Jaimini? Right? What lightning does she fear? And this has to do with the inversion of divine sentiments. Right? That what would normally be taken as sweet in, say, in certain type of pastime, and another pastime is the opposite. But that doesn't mean that it is not relishable, right? Bahiye Vishajalahoy Bitare Anandamoy Krishna Premarad Bhuta Charit. Kaviraj was saying, the astonishing characteristic of Krishna Prem. Externally, like one's being suffering the effects of cobra venom, internally relishing some peculiar nectarine substance. So the kokil, that's a very beautiful sound, right? The sound, so we know, I'll do an operatic impersonation of the kokil. Like that. You hear them around here. So it's not, and sometimes it's compared to the liquid sweetness of the voice of Krishna. Sometimes her voice is compared with the kokil, just this very, and they, when the one male, they go sweeter, 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 sweeter. Mm-hmm. So, for some reason, the sound of the kokil, which should normally remind one of the voice of Krishna, well then you think, well, how wonderful is that? Right? That should be a very sweet, enchanting experience. She's going, Jaimini, Jaimini, Jaimini. Because the sweet sound of the voice of Krishna in her separation is like lightning striking her heart. And that's why she's chanting the name of Jaimini. And this just gives us a hint of the ecstatic emotional interior of Om Vishnupad Vishwaranya Srila Bhakti Sudhir Govinda Goswami Maharaj. Just from the environment, that sound can trigger this flow of divine emotions in his heart. So it was our good fortune that he mercifully allowed us to be within his relativity and gave us the opportunity and continuing opportunity to serve the lotus feet of his Srila Guru Maharaj. Jai Srila Bhakti Sudhir Govinda Goswami Maharaj Avirbhav Mahal Mahotsavatiti Jai. And his beloved Mahananda Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj, whom he appointed secretary to his divine grace, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and secretary of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. will say more than a few words about His divine grace.
Well, Maharaj, first of all, I can say, I don't know how or why, but today felt like a special day from yesterday. It felt like, oh, we're building up to a special day. Yesterday was a very nice Adivas program here in the temple room, and the mood also putting up the decorations, and some static was in the air as preparations are underway.
Some ecstatic was in the air?
Some ecstatic was in the air. Ecstatic.
Ecstatic air.
Happiness with how to make the arrangements. And of course this very much takes us to our, sentimental memories. But the memories of year after year.
This is liberating nostalgia. Continue.
We have
Sorry, I can't.
We have Lakshmi Devi able to change mundane things into the spiritual context. So Lakshmi Devi's...
Saraswati.
Saraswati Devi's words.
I'm gonna try and...
I should start again. Anyway, very wonderfully, this is reminding us of so many festivals from yesterday, building up to the Sri Vyasa Puja day, the glorification day of Srila Bhakti Sudhir Govinda Goswami Maharaj. And then this morning's program, also very sweetly with Srila Gurudev in the thoughts in our center, the center of our thoughts, we've come here. And really...
Now I will take that.
Really, we are feeling His presence in the association of the devotees. And Srila Gurudev always was saying about Guru Maharaj, that Srila Guru Maharaj, he disappeared but did not leave. And so in the presence of the devotees, in the presence of those who are trying to serve him, then we are also very much feeling Srila Gurudev's presence and feeling that he is completely reciprocating with each one. This morning also, then as sometimes happens, we're up early in the morning, and before Mangalarti, then we are
hopefully on a daily basis.
Well, we are on a daily basis. But before Mangalarti, we're finding our corner. But this morning also thinking that each morning we would get up early and go and see Gurudev when he was in the temple before Mangalarti. And Gurudev wanted that, and it was a very kind of a private time. It was a time when he's very free-flowing. He's not in front of cameras or this, that and the other, and he's sharing so many things from his childhood, from his growing uphood, from his relationship with Guru Maharaj, how he knew Guru Maharaj by their own individual unique relationship, but also he would say that I would be always reminded who Guru Maharaj was when Guru Maharaj's godbrothers would come to see him. And in this way, Guru Maharaj, Srila Govinda Maharaj, getting sort of a little caution. Oh, my Guru Maharaj, oh, he is so great. He is so great that these senior godbrothers of Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, they're coming to Srila Sridhar Maharaj, consulting, they're looking to him, they're consulting with him. And amongst all of this, Gurudev is right there as, you can say, the witness, but part of that sharing of Vaishnava association. And Srila Guru Maharaj said of Gurudev, of Govinda Maharaj, that it is as though he had met Srila Saraswati Thakur, even more so than most of my godbrothers who did have his extensive association. So in this way, Srila Gurudev himself captured very much the conception of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the conception, the mood, how he interacted with his disciples. And of course, most of all, as Srila Goswami Maharaj said, that Guru Maharaj, he was presenting Srila Saraswati Thakur, and Guru Maharaj's godbrothers, they saw not that, oh, he is the best representative, but it is as though Srila Saraswati Thakur is presenting these truths, these conceptions, this mood, through Srila Guru Maharaj. So, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, so much presenting to us the message, the teachings of Srila Saraswati Thakur, and Srila Govinda Maharaj. Although the next generation, practically of that generation, by the power of association, because his association was essentially Guru Maharaj and his godbrothers and the senior godbrothers, all the way up until Guru Maharaj's disappearance. And then he had only us as his association. Very sorry, Gurudev. but Gurudev not only tolerated us, but Gurudev saw some hope in the next generation, that Guru Maharaj's message is going to be continued and is going to be presented to the world. So this way, Gurudev, he's practically that generation of the disciples of Saraswati Thakur by association. We are so close to the original root of the Gaudiya Vaishnavism of the present age. We're so close to that by the grace of Guru Maharaj, no doubt Guru Maharaj's grace to Srila Govinda Maharaj, and Govinda Maharaj's generosity to the world. So it is an extremely fortuitous position. Position means circumstance for us all, that we have such close connection with the purity of the trunk of the tree, the main flow of Srila Saraswati Thakur's teaching, Rupa Goswami's teaching, Mahaprabhu's teaching. So in the garb, if you like, presented very friendlily, presented in a very approachable way by Srila Govinda Maharaj, we all have got this opportunity for rendering service to the conception that Srila Saraswati Thakur and Mahaprabhu have given. And the thing is that it is, you can say, the best chance in our lives, even the younger ones here, in our lives, we've seen Kali Yuga progress. We've seen so many things take place. What is to say what the situation is going to be in 50 years' time, 50 years after that, etc., both in the condition of the world and in the condition of how we're going to be able to closely keep in connection with the pure current of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, of Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev. But we have this very close connection now. We have all the cards, the right cards are on the table, if you like, but we ourselves need to play those cards. We have to try to take sincerely and seriously what they've given to us and the opportunity to serve. And Gurudev, he saw and expressed that he saw that anybody who does any service for Guru Maharaj, and he was facilitating service to Guru Maharaj, anybody who does any service for Guru Maharaj, their future is guaranteed. You must be successful. But there is a bit of a but there, and that is, but how soon we will be successful, that is to some degree in our own hand. So we should try to take sincerely the guidance that's come to us. Srila Gurudev, we've seen by his grace, by Guru Maharaj's grace, we've seen his life from the time, as Goswami was saying, when really he was back-pushing. He was a back-pushing person in the temple, as far as not putting himself forward as a prominent preacher or anything, but he was happy to be identified as the manager, the secretary, the person who's looking after all of the downstairs. Gurudev saying, I'm looking after downstairs. Guru Maharaj is upstairs, this way. But he was very back-pushing, and from those early days, then all the way through, step by step by step, Guru Maharaj giving him his sannyas, in preparation for giving him the whole responsibility of the acharjaship of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, of continuing that flow, the pure flow of what Rupa Goswami and Srila Saraswati Thakur had given. And we've seen then Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, becoming the acharya for more than 2 years before Guru Maharaj disappeared from this world. Guru Maharaj very consciously establishing him very firmly as my successor acharya of Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. What I have got, he has got. And this way, Guru Maharaj saying, and in this way, we were witness to many devotees during that later pastimes of Guru Maharaj, after he'd given the acharjaship to Srila Govinda Maharaj, we are the witness of many devotees, if not practically every devotee who came to Navadip. Then Guru Maharaj would emphasize to them, do you understand? I have given everything to Govinda Maharaj. You serve him. He has what I have, he has got, in this way. And whether new or old, Guru Maharaj emphasizing this. And he's giving his Harikatha and emphasizing this transfer, actual like solid transfer in his lifetime for more than 2 years before. And our seva for some of that time was facilitating devotees coming to Guru Maharaj's lotus feet at that time, finding a suitable opportunity time and bringing them to Guru Maharaj. So we have witnessed, not 1, 2, 3, but I can say, I can't think of even an exception, but I will say 99% of the devotees who came. I can say everybody Guru Maharaj is stressing to. So from that time, when Srila Sri Ramaraj Guru Maharaj is present, but Srila Gurudev is the acharya of the temple, this, can you say, transition time, and then after, of course, Guru Maharaj's disappearance, how Srila Govinda Maharaj, alone in the sense he doesn't have Guru Maharaj upstairs directly there, and alone having to take the rudder of the ship and continue. And for Gurudev, that was a very big step, because he always felt, even though Guru Maharaj is not kind of getting involved with the management or decisions of those last months, a couple of years also, you can say, but just by Guru Maharaj being there, Gurudev, he said, I felt I could do anything because I know Guru Maharaj is there and everything will take place. And then Srila Govinda Maharaj, this is 1988 August when Guru Maharaj disappeared from the world. From 1988, for another 22 years, he tolerated us and he showered affection and the substance of Guru Maharaj's teachings to the devotees all over the world. So, a long history, and I also was thinking this morning, what part should we kind of give some emphasis to? And in festival spirit, I can also just mention about Bamanpara became a festival place for the devotees. Bamanpara, Sripat Bamanpara, the holy place of the appearance of Govinda Maharaj. Today is his appearance day. And it is, and it was a remote village, and almost miraculously the terrible road. If you think other roads in India are bad, the road to Bamanpara used to be, a disaster road. It was like it had been bombed and repeatedly bombed, and it was a major journey to get to Bamanpara. And then in due course of time, Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj, he found a way to get some funds for establishing a temple there in honor of Srila Govinda Maharaj, because he knew that Govinda Maharaj is not going to approve, you are going to make a temple at my place, not approve externally, at least in that sense. So Acharya Maharaj, he had his way to build a temple there. But what I wanted to say was that for many years, in fact, Gurudev did not go back to his hometown except a short while after being in the temple. After he joined to Guru Maharaj back in 1949, when he joined with Guru Maharaj, after some time, and I'm not quite sure how long, but not so long, Guru Maharaj sent him back to his own village to preach on one of the preaching parties that are going village to village. And Guru Maharaj sent him back to his own village to preach. And that's the only other time I ever heard Gurudev say that he'd gone back to Bamanpara since joining the temple, since coming to Guru Maharaj's lotus feet. And then after the building of this beautiful temple in Bamanpara, then the opening time came for that temple, and that year was the first time that Gurudev had returned there in many, many years. And by his grace, then I had the opportunity to drive Gurudev on his first return to Bamanpara in many years. And Gurudev's when he came, he is seeing Bamanpara, and he asked me to drive him some other places too. We are driving on the outside part. And he was seeing Bamanpara in relation to Nityananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's not seeing, oh, it's my birthplace. And he was saying, oh, how Mahaprabhu, after receiving sannyas and wandering under this tree, and we're going very slowly, and he had me stop the car. And then he's seeing the tree, and then he just slowly saying, under this tree Mahaprabhu rested after he'd taken sannyas, and this tree, here it is very famous. And he also told many trees that had gone in the time since his younger days. But he was seeing Bamanpara in terms of it being part of Raradesh, that area where Mahaprabhu and Nityananda traversed extensively after the sannyas of Mahaprabhu. So he was, Gurudev, very aloof to many things there, but aloof in the sense for his own personal dealings. But others, like very sweet things, he said that on that stretch between Bamanpara village and Putsuri, where he went to school, where the school teachers didn't always have affection for him, everyone except the school teachers had affection for him, because he was self-confessed a little naughty at school. Anyhow, on that, in that section, Gurudev, he's looking and saying, when I was young, I would see thousands of cows grazing here. Thousands of cows. And now, just a few cows here and there. But from his young age was like that. And he also told about Bamanpara and about the cows, that he said that there was so much milk that time from all the cows, etc. And nobody would sell milk. And Gurudev said that if any family would sell milk, it was like regarded as such a bad thing. They would never get a husband for their daughter.
Wow.
Like that. And now you see very quickly the world is exploiting everything, exploiting milk, exploiting whatever is there, exploitation. But you would never sell milk. Milk is meant for the Lord, making sweets. You can maybe barter, but not to sell. Anyhow, lots and lots of affectionate dealings. Gurudev was very much, you can say, remembered for his affection, but his affection was always with deep underlying heartfelt transmission of something very nourishing for us. And what is the nourishing thing? Really, Jnana Shunya Bhakti for us. Gurudev knows everything, but for us, except for a very few persons, you can say we really have very little, Siddhantic understanding, this, that, and the other. And Gurudev gave the devotees access to affectionate, loving, devotional service. And we never heard Gurudev kind of giving a talk about moksha, or liberation, and things like this. It was always a talk about affection and our home, and this kind of a mood. And this was Gurudev. In Navadip, we got some hint, you can say, at least a hint, of what the world of devotees is like, where really in Gurudev's association and the mood around was entirely one of selflessness and self-giving, not of exploitation. Okay, in history has shown one or two may have had some wrong ideas, but Gurudev also, he said, I'm not suspecting anybody. And he said that is very poor life if we have to be suspicious. We trust everybody. And it is their misfortune if for some reason they are approaching with the wrong purpose. But Gurudev is giving trust to everyone, and in that trust, that is definitely feeling like the family mood, the family area. Anyhow, I would certainly like to give an opportunity for others to speak, those who've got like some very specific grace of Gurudev in so many ways. We have Paramananda Prabhu here. We're in Thailand, where everything has almost, you can say, come in, well, it has come in a mystic way, but it's come very much witnessed from the seed of this mystic way of Gurudev's expression. From that to what we see today, and every year it's also growing, things are evolving, and here also become a natural magnet for the glorification of Guru Maharaj and Gurudev and the practice of devotional service. And so we love the Paramananda Prabhu will give some words about Srila Gurudev and Thailand, or in Srila Gurudev at all, and we have Mohanananda Prabhu here and Parananda Prabhu, the team that first brought Srila Gurudev on his, as we now heard, 24 world tours, and very much of close practical association with Gurudev. I don't know how much time we have now that everybody can speak. Bhakti Lalita, who's been doing the correspondence for the last few years, who knew very well Gurudev's heart, his expression, how to deal with so many circumstances, etc. So, and others who are the disciples of Srila Gurudev to say, but I'm not the MC, and I'm not sure how much time we've got, but maybe, Maharaj, I'll be allowed to pass the microphone over.
Yes,
and
no, you're doing a good MC job.
And that Paramananda Prabhu, we invite, please, to share something, because we know all of this has come from the heart, actually, of Gurudev through the devotees. So I pass the microphone over to Paramananda Prabhu.
Just following Maharaj's talks, I just sitting here, and the whole atmosphere reminded me Navadvipuranda. Because like you said, we will go there. When I was there, we'll just go there in the morning before Mangalarti. You know who you will find there? Of course, Gurudev will be there. Maybe one of the servitors, both servitors, 3 servitors, you never know. And then there will be Mahananda Prabhu giving reports, receiving instructions, what needs to be done. And of course, there will be Goswami Maharaj, always present, giving Srila Gurudev company and complimenting his mood with wonderful shlokas and siddhanta, and being his very good and dear friend. And Bhakti Lalita will find some time writing correspondence, asking questions, and reading letters and replying to letters. And very wonderful atmosphere, really. And again, sometime after Mangalarati, everybody would gather there and Gurudev will be sitting there. Sometimes he wouldn't say much. He'll be just there, observing things, looking at the devotees. He may say a few words only. And then when we're out of that darshan, that could continue for half an hour, sometimes 1 hour. And then everybody leaves the room of Srila Gurudev, veranda of Srila Gurudev, and we find ourselves so much inspired. And then some devotees who did not came, they would ask, how was, what did Srila Gurudev said? So, well, he didn't say anything, but it was so wonderful. And that inspiration would last for that day, days to come, months to come, and actually years to come. And so that would, of course, say many wonderful things and is well recorded. And now, when Srila Gurudev, at least for me, he is not visibly present, my way of finding shelter, his shelter, asking questions and getting instructions to actually find his sincere followers, his very dedicated disciples, getting service from them, instructions from them, and that's how I continue. This is my choice. And in that connection with them, Gurudev's early morning darshan, I remember, very first darshans, I started coming to see Gurudev, and it was really early. You have to stand in front of the door, then some of the caucus opens the door, then you enter. Gurudev is sometimes still in his bedroom, and then he's coming out. And sometimes no one is there, and he will be looking at the photographs, devotees sending to him, or having a cup of garam jal. And then I would be sitting there with Srila Gurudev, and when Mangalarati would start, I will try to crawl out carefully, and then he would ask me sometimes, where are you going now? I said, Gurudev, Mangalarati is starting. He said, this is your Mangalarati, sit here. This is how your Mangalarati is going to be today. And of course, so many times I've been telling how the Thailand mission came to be. It's all envisioned, all blessed by Srila Gurudev. And Gurudev envisioned to the single detail, to the point of telling where it's going to be, even though we had no clue about this place. We had no clue nothing was going on in Chiang Mai. But he specifically mentioned this place. He specifically mentioned this temple. He specifically mentioned people who will be here. His dearmost servitors, namely Srila Vadut Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj. That also happened. And now I'm humbled by the presence of all the wonderful servitors who are here, giving their life, giving their blood to the service of Srila Gurudev, and steadily doing so for many, many years, satisfying Srila Gurudev. And maybe in blood connection I can tell one story that happened in Thailand. As all of you know, Srila Gurudev really liked going to see doctors. So we had one doctor here. And that doctor was a very famous doctor. He was a cardiologist. He was the personal doctor of the king, the father king of Thailand. So he treated him sometime. And then Srila Gurudev was very happy to go and see him sometime. Did he have problem or not? It did not matter. He just wanted to go and see him and talk to him. Sometime we'd just go there, and me, Srila Shah Prabhu and Krishna Priya, we'll drive in a car, and his name was Dr. Nithi. And one day we came there, and Gurudev said, I just want to talk. No problem, I want to see the doctor. He's very nice. I want to talk to him. I said, yes, Gurudev, sure. We can do that. And I made an appointment, and a nurse coming to Srila Gurudev, and she talks to me, and she says, can you please ask him to go to the nurse station and give some blood? It's just routine. Before you see doctor, he wants to see how's the results of the blood, how you're doing. And Srila Gurudev said, yeah, but I did not come for, I just want to talk. But nurse was very insisting, and then he turns to me and he said, Prabhu, you give your blood. And I'm saying, how is that possible? You're going to see doctor, not me. But I could sense it wasn't about that. Of course, Gurudev did not like give extra blood or get shots. He was very Brahminical in nature. But then he insisted, no, you must give the blood for your guru. And Srila Shah, I'm very perplexed what's going on. Srila Shah Prabhu there and said, Gurudev, I will give my blood. I will give my blood. And Gurudev said, no, I want Paramananda to give his blood. And then I realized that actually he was, in a way he was saying, are you ready to do that for me? But I little failed then. So I had to negotiate with the nurse and we arrange it without me giving the blood so that he could see the doctor.
And also about Krishna Priya and the Thai food she is eating.
Oh, that
and she
story.
says, I'll make...
I can tell that story, but she will be very embarrassed to tell that story.
Well, but it shows his sweetness.
Yes. One time Srila Gurudev was coming from the second floor, coming down. He would do these regular walks in that village. And then Krishna Priya would always serve. She would always be behind, serving, supplying everything that was necessary for Srila Gurudev. And then that was the moment when Srila Gurudev is out. That's the moment for her to have some food.
Yeah.
And she made some som-tam, which was papaya.
Papaya salad.
Papaya salad. It's a very Thai thing.
Yeah.
And then she's sitting on the floor and eating, and she's half through the plate. I mean, half to her papaya salad. And then Gurudev coming down. He'll notice that Krishna Priya sitting there. He goes straight to her and he is asking, what are you eating there? And then Krishna Priya says, oh Gurudev, it's papaya salad, very traditional Thai food. Gurudev said, give me. And immediately she jumps out and says, yeah, I will make you right now. She said, no, I want what is on your plate. Give me that. And Krishna Priya was so embarrassed. I was truly sorry for her that moment. Because all the Gurudev disciples and followers are standing there waiting for Gurudev to go out. And he's demanding that papaya salad, half-finished papaya salad from her own plate. Well, it was the Guru order. What can you say to that? So she's giving Gurudev whatever was on her plate, and happily Gurudev taking it and saying, how wonderful it is, and said, tomorrow you make something for me.
That's so he has no discrimination, what is high, like Nityananda, just, it's mercy, love, affection, no other consideration, no hesitation on his part.
And one little story, I know that Yadu Krishna Prabhu will not say anything. I know that. So there's one story that we heard from
on behalf. We have some
night,
surrogate speakers here today.
So he was saying how during his very first meeting with Srila Gurudev, he was preparing all the questions. He said, I had two lists, important questions and less important questions. And I was really serious about that. It took me days to decide to go and ask those questions of Srila Gurudev. So he's there in front of Srila Gurudev, and as soon as he sits down, Gurudev, and he pulls out his first list, he prepares it. And then Srila Gurudev looks at him, smiles and says, Yadu Krishna, would you like to have some tea? Of course. And he's drinking tea, and the other is thinking, oh, I think all my questions were answered from this list. Now he's pulling the next list, and he's going through all the questions on that list. And then Gurudev is noticing that, and he says, Yadu Krishna Prabhu, would you like to have some cookie? And then he is eating a cookie, and whatever left he is passing on to Yadu Krishna Prabhu. And then he says, and then I realized I don't need to ask all those questions. I just want to be in this moment forever.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Goswami Maharaja ki
Jai.
Jai.
So I will pass the microphone on.
But Paramananda has been speaking a little bit on behalf of Jadu Krishna also, but today we asked to Parananda Prabhu that he could say a few words, and he asked that Mohan will speak on his behalf.
He can speak for himself.
Mohan speaks for Mohan.
Anyway, our Australian contingent and Parananda Prabhu on behalf
But
of
Parananda is supporting what Mohan says.
Yeah.
Well, wait, let's see what he says first.
Yeah.
The ventriloquist and the dummy, Maharaj. That might be it.
And assist.
Thank you everyone for welcoming us here. It's just so wonderful to be here in Chiang Mai. We've heard so much about the place, and first time for Parananda and second time for me. But this might be the first opportunity I've had in over 30 years to thank you, Goswami Maharaj, or perhaps not thank you, because it was because of your book,
Oh, yeah.
Sri Guru and His Grace, that led me to the feet of Guru Maharaj and consequently to Govinda Maharaj. I've had wonderful time spending with Guru Maharaj as a devotee, as a disciple, but more importantly, he was a lot like my father to me, and he treated me like his own son. And of course, sometimes also we were like friends. We discussed many things, which the relationship I had with Guru Maharaj is very simple. With Govinda Maharaj, that is, when Guru Maharaj told me the first time I took initiation was just do one thing only and just to follow him, pointed towards Govinda Maharaj. And that's all I did. I never asked a single question in the entire time of our relationship. Not one spiritual question. Everything was just what was needed to be done and just to do it. Never had time to sit in audiences like this to discuss because there was always work, seva to be done. But in our quiet moments, he taught me a few things, and the three most important things he taught me which made my life the most wonderful, joyous time, even up to now, and continues, because he taught me three important things. I know everybody knows about tolerance and giving honor and doing seva, HOT, humility, giving, offering honor, and tolerance, the hot principle. But he told me three important things which would make life easy for me. Most important, number one, was be forgiving, because every day you're going to do things that is going to be hurtful to people. You might say something or you might do something. You might not realize it. So learn to be forgiving so people can easily forgive you. And that was a very important thing in life, especially in Grihastha's life and being a father and also being an employer. You have to be very forgiving, otherwise you won't have many employees left. Secondly, be grateful. No matter what the situation is, always remember it can be a lot worse. So if you accept that, then everything is better from that moment. So I learned to be as grateful as possible, and every day when I used to say, I'm grateful, Maharaj, and he said, no, go deeper, go deeper. So when I thought I was being grateful, I had to find more depth. And the third thing, which was very important, was every day do something that will not reward you. So find something to do every day to help someone or do whatever it is, but you don't personally gain anything. That was the most important lesson. And through those three things, I quietly managed to follow that, I hope. And do forgive me if I've stepped out of line. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak. And I'd like to be able to serve you all when prasadam time is on. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to... I'm a fortunate soul to be in the family of Guru Maharaj's family, because through that, I traveled all over the world with Maharaj. I went to places I don't think I would ever go to for any reason. I met a lot of people in my life that I would never take association with. And a long time after, I'm still happy to say that many of them have become lifelong friends because of that particular trip. First time imagine taking Maharaj out of India, which is like a completely different thing, and coming to Australia for the first time. We were very fortunate. I've had the most wonderful opportunity. If you see me and I'm blissful and happy, it's because of that one person in my life, really. I thank Maharaj for that opportunity. Thank you all. Parananda, I'll say a few words for you. Parananda says thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Anything, please, to Bhakti Lalita.
I'll be back in a minute.
Yes, to Bhakti Lalita today, please. Now we have an actual microphone to pass around instead of an ethereal microphone. And I think Bhakti Lalita is a lady who needs no introduction. So let us hear from her.
Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sudhir Govinda Goswami Maharaj, our guiding star, who's, I think the world has never seen such a magnanimous, affectionate, loving, beautiful, charming, funny, adorable, transcendental personality as agent of Krishna. Krishna revealing himself in such a extraordinary way, and very immediately coming to his lotus feet and he's becoming our everything, our fathers, our gurus, our mother, our friend, our parent, everything, every kind of relationship was there in exchange with him in his service. And those were the best days of our lives, that we got to stay with him and serve him. And we also know, who was in close proximity with him, that it was also like flying very close to the sun, being with him. And his fire was very powerful. And so much maturity was required to be in his proximity, to not misunderstand him, not abuse his generosity, not to lose sight of the very guru principle we are coming to approach humbly and serve, and test it again and again. And his nature being of Ragamarg, Bhakta, his spontaneity, his Paramahamsa nature, where we maybe misunderstand, we might get caught up in like his grand personality, and if we're not careful, that could be all-consuming and losing sight of his Vani, his teaching. The scriptures talk about Vani and Vapu. The personality, the form versus the substance, the voice, the teachings that were coming from him as representative of Krishna, of his Guru Maharaj. So finding that living with him was the most valuable thing and also the most dangerous thing. If we took it the wrong way, if we took away something else that was so grand and so illuminating and overwhelming as his personality and his humor and his all the things that would come being in his presence. So it was a bit like boot camp, staying with him and having to grow up very quickly, and learn to always see that what he's teaching, what he wanted from us, and to not lose sight of that one thread that we were to hold on to, and following his instructions and becoming who he wanted us to become. He shaped us as his servitors, how he wanted us to be, and what he liked, what he didn't like, what he expected of us, and so many things that made us who we now are because of him, and preparing us for life after he would depart from the world, knowing what we should do, how we should think in terms of Krishna consciousness and devotion and service to his Guru Maharaj and Mahaprabhu and Nityananda and Radha and Krishna. So, such a guiding, shining star in our lives, and continuing, maybe unmanifest from our physical vision, he's still guiding us within the hearts of his devotees and agents, within the environment, and all continuing on by his grace. Everything we have here, all the facilities, all opportunity for service is coming from his grace. And we never want to lose sight of that and follow his example that he gave so extensively and so perfectly, in such an extreme way, like, for example, the being humble, tolerant, respectful at all times. That's something he followed himself and instilled in his followers. Maybe sometimes we're not always so perfect in our approach and attempt, but we know that's what he wanted of us, and that is the solution. So he gave us everything and more than enough to continue our lives and to instill that to others as best as we can as his instruments. So it's a very happy day, and the day he appeared in this world, and it's a great celebration, and we have very beautiful dress that has come from Vrindavan, a new crown that is the size of Jagannath's crown, but today it fit on Giriraj. And beautiful yellow dress brought by Ajita Krishna Prabhu, and in the kitchen, devotees
making
serving, making all the favorites of Srila Bhakti Sudhir Govinda Goswami Maharaj. And we're all hoping to please him on this day, and so happy to have all our guests come from all over the world. So feeling extremely grateful for the grace of Srila Bhakti Sudhir Govinda Goswami Maharaj in our lives, and such an extraordinary divine agent that has come to bless us all with all auspiciousness. And we bow down again and again. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sudhir Govinda Goswami Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Avirbhav Mahahotsav Titi ki jai.
Jai.
Harinam Sankirtan ki jai.
How would you like to proceed?
I think I'll just say a few concluding words, and then later the devotees can assemble again.
Yes.
And yeah. But it's alluding to what you said, Gurava Bhishta Supurukam, Guru Ganai Ashisha Sambhushitam. That not only, and these are words written by Guru Maharaj, so he's saying, not only did he fulfill my every desire, and maybe that you could expect to hear. The Guru's but not really in the pranam written by the Guru. Guru Maharaj wrote his pranam, which is very unusual. But you could expect the writer of the pranam to say that. He fulfilled his Guru Maharaj. But what Guru Maharaj adds there is very interesting when he says the Guru Gan means the group of gurus, which means his god brothers, the senior disciples of Saraswati Thakur, recognizing his superior qualities, they also gave their blessings. So in other words, Guru Maharaj is covering because there were some, even Prabhupada time ago, he would say, he's so attached to that boy Govinda. You know, like they thought that Guru Maharaj was too affectionate for him, you know, but like in a good way. Like, it's so, you know, and he's so loving and affectionate to him. But they thought it's Govinda Maharaj who can expand the glories of Guru Maharaj, because it's not going to happen on his own. He's going to live in a hut with the truth. That's Guru Maharaj. But with Govinda Maharaj, it can grow and expand, and as he did 24 times around the world. And so the God brothers saw his extraordinary qualities and capacity and gave their full blessings also. That's what Guru Maharaj is alluding to. Because he also, when Guru Maharaj was no longer traveling and preaching, he would arrange programs and bring Goswami Maharaj or Jajavar Maharaj. Or with Swami Maharaj they do programs. But it's funny because Gurudev is a brahmachari in saffron. Swami Maharaj would be the grihasta sitting at his side, but Swami Maharaj would give he's 17, you know, so Swami Maharaj would give the talk, but he'd use him that way. You know, it's India. You know? So Gurudev understood the glories, was reminded of the glories of Guru Maharaj by hearing from the God brothers. But they, in seeing him, they gave their full blessings to him. And no less than Srila Keshava Maharaj himself, he said, he had resources, Tirtha Maharaj, the head of Gaudiya, had resources. So many resources. He said, but what we could not do with all the resources at our disposal, Govinda Maharaj does with his intelligence, because they had the least in terms of developed mats, or close to the least. Saying, but Govinda Maharaj is, what we're unable to do, he's doing with his intelligence. So, and remember, he is one of the most senior servitors of Srila Saraswati Thakur, so this is very high praise coming from him. And Goswami Maharaj, Jajavar Maharaj, you know, all of them. But, and of course, Guru Maharaj himself. And I just think of the one story that Guru Maharaj told, like, when he had the opportunity to sing the glories of Srila Govinda Maharaj after his taking sannyas. And it points to his capacity and his